I say, well, you know, like, hey, you know, hi. I like that umbrella.
Living legend of Latin music? Is that the
Well,
title
that's what they call me. Yes, they really call me. You know, that's what they.
Or
You
would
know.
you say living legend of salsa music, or would you?
No,
be
no,
more
no. I would say just the last one of the last of the Mohicans. I started in
One of the
1950.
last of the Mohegans.
I started in the 1954.
Were you one of the Mambo Kings?
Yeah, I was way before the Mambo Kings. You know.
Before the
So
Mambo
yeah,
Kings.
1954. But the Mambo Kings, between you and me and Lampos,
Yeah, I wanted to ask about
off
that.
the record,
Yeah.
are you can write it down if you want. To me, that was the Pupi Campo brothers. There were two brothers, Pupi Campo and Mandy Campos, and they were from Cuba.
All right, well,
And they.
we're definitely going to get into this.
Okay, I'll give you the whole history.
That's the
So
whole
they
thing,
took
the
the
whole
Mambo
history.
Kings and made it in a different vein, you know, which they shouldn't have done, really. They should have given them guys credit. They're the ones that are the Mambo King. They came here. Pupi was a nut
Came here for what, Cuba?
from Cuba. And Pupi was like a clown, you know, clown prince with the maracas. And he was great. And Mandy was a drummer, musical director. That was great. We worked together in a patio. It was a country club in Long Beach. There are a lot of country clubs then. Yeah. So he was cool. Yeah. And you know, that's what happened.
Okay, good. So let's
get
go for
started?
yeah. Good.
How is it, okay?
Sounds good. Everything.
Good afternoon and welcome to New York New Rock. We have the wonderful opportunity today. I'm terrible at these,
That's all right,
okay?
don't
So
worry,
I
don't
do
worry.
like 5 of them. Once
Well,
I
you
get
gotta go.
going.
You gotta go.
Well, how's the sound of the background of the music? That's cool, like?
You want it louder?
Leave it like that.
Softer?
That sounds good so they can hear that in the
Yeah,
background.
you can keep that going.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me just think for a minute what I want to say. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to New York New Rock. I'm Ivy, and we have the privilege this afternoon to interview one of the living legends of Latin music, Mr. Joe Cuba. And
Hi.
I'm really honored.
Thank you very
Thank you for
much.
joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to my home and
Yeah, we're here at
and
Joe's
allowing
home.
me the opportunity to be on your show, which
Well-
is quite my honor. Okay?
Well, my honor to be with you and
Thank you. That was one of my tunes, to be with you.
to be with you.
Yeah, gorgeous ballad, to be with you, 1 hour of
You
each
have-
lonely day.
Well, I have to say, Joe, I am a complete neophyte when it comes to Latin music. I'm, a rock and roller.
Oh, great.
So I'm really excited to have this opportunity to
Thank
meet
you.
you and to learn more about, Latin music and stuff like that.
You know, I think rock and Latin music are like should be a marriage, because the conga drum is associated with rock music, you know? And a lot of people don't realize that. And the rhythmic
rhythms.
patterns that they do, my son's a rock drummer.
Oh, he's a rock
and he
drummer.
was my timbalero for many years. And he used to say it. He said, man, the rhythms, they coincide together. It's like a beautiful marriage, you know?
You're getting right into all the questions I wanted to ask
Oh, I'm
you.
sorry.
No, it's great. I love when artists do that.
Oh,
That's
all
that's
right.
perfect.
Thank you.
Because a lot of our viewers are rock and rollers, but we have a lot of
Yeah.
our viewers actually listen to a lot of different
Yeah,
stuff.
great.
So since I'm a complete neophyte, I'd like
Go ahead.
a history
Go ahead.
of your career,
Go ahead.
and you're going to be able to explain it all to me.
Oh, you got it. Ask the
so,
question and you got it.
When did you become Joe Cuba? First of all.
Well, actually, 1954, I created the group. The group came from, there was from Cuba, they had the charangas, right? And the charanga bands had violins.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
that's what I love. I love the violin sound, okay? And I wanted to incorporate the violin sound into what I was the concept of what I wanted to do. But around my neighborhood, whoever had a violin case, there were no violins in there, They walked around
what were in them?
with machine guns. I'm only kidding. Anyhow, there were no violin players in Harlem, really. And
That's where you grew up in Harlem.
yeah, in Spanish Harlem. And this is a true story. Whoever played violin was considered kind of high-hatted. You didn't belong in the neighborhood, which is strange, which is silly. But in those days,
You'd
that's
fit
the
in
way
more
it
if you
happened.
played the horn.
Right. So, I always loved George Shearing, okay? And there was a group called Joe Loco that Louis Ramirez, rest in peace, was a very dear friend of mine. He wound up working with me and everything. Became my arranger, and he worked with them. And I used to see them in the Apollo Theater and a lot of places. And I loved the sound. And a lot of nightclubs that we worked in were small after-hour clubs, and trumpets would blow the walls down. So I was looking for a sound that would be beautiful, where you can talk to a girl and not have your ears blown away, So that's the way I decided that the vibes would be an intricate part.
Right.
And then
Vibes.
English lyrics were very important to me because I felt that people should be able to relate to English. We were Latins born here,
And
but we spoke Spanglish and English.
Spanglish.
And, yeah, so how can you romance a girl if she don't know what you're talking about?
Right. And that's how you got your name.
Yeah.
Joe
No.
Cuba.
My name came from, I had a...
Because you're not originally Joe
No,
Cuba.
my name is Gilbert Calderon, Puerto Rican. And Catalino Rolon was my manager at that time. He was the manager of the Palladium. He was a well-known manager. And the Stardust Ballroom was a very famous place in the Bronx. Harry James worked there, you know, all the big bands. And I was booked into the Stardust Ballroom. And the owner said, how are we going to put Gilbert Calderon up in lights? That don't make sense, you know. So I read in the newspaper that Friday, it said Joe Cuba. So I called my manager, who's this guy that took my job? He said, that's you.
Oh my God, so he created your name
Joe
for you.
Cuba, yeah.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
So that was it.
And you were okay with it, obviously.
Yeah, hey, what are you going to do? And it became, and you know, for almost a year, they would ask, who's Joe Cuba? And we said, nobody. And I had to go down and try and explain what nobody meant. In other words, I'm this, and it was just a stage name until finally we said, hey, forget about it. I'm Joe Cuba. How are you? You know.
Well, you're very well known now, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
When did you start playing conga drums?
Well, I started when a friend of mine, Albert Rivera, was going into the Army. I used to play a lot of, I was an athlete, played basketball, baseball, and I broke my ankle, my leg. So I was home with my leg in a cast. He was going in the Army. He was a conguero. I said, lend me your drum while you're in the Army. Because I can't walk and I can fool around. I always loved music. And so I started learning and learning slowly but surely. Then we had in our block, we were very fortunate to have Victor Pantojas. He's one of the greatest congueros around. You know, he played with all the top groups in the West Coast. And he taught me the fundamental group, the fundamental beat. And from there, that was it. You know?
You just stayed home and practiced and practiced?
Yeah.
What were who were some of your other mentors?
Well, I worked with Sabu, which was one of the greatest congueros. He looked just like Sabu, the guy with the dimples and everything. And as a matter of fact, I got into the business because of him. He went to Europe to make a film, and there was a group called Alfarona X. That was the first conjunto from Puerto Rico that came down and stayed here complete. All of them stayed here, and they were very, very good. And Sabu left them one day, and my buddy Santo Miranda, rest in peace, the drummer, took me, and he said, Sonny, you're always with me, so you must know all the breaks. And I did, so I got into the band.
Wow, that's
then
fabulous.
I found out, which, it's a funny thing.
So that was your first band?
Yeah.
And what was the name of it?
Yeah, the Alfarona X. And I found out that they let me into a dance free, right? And I met girls, and I got free booze.
Hey, this is not a bad business.
And I got paid. And I said, and I got paid.
Booze, and money.
And,
you can't beat that.
Yeah, and you
love
can't beat that. And then
Better than a 9 to 5.
And you can sleep all day the next day.
Love that. Hey,
Great,
that's why I'm a musician. Well, when did you put your first band together?
Well, 1954, we organized a group, and I said we went to the Stardust Ballroom, and they loved us there. It was like we were there a year. 1955, the whole year we were there. And I think our big break came because I was pushing the English lyrics. Sid Sayre was his name, as an agent. And I met him in the old, not the old Stardust Ballroom, what was that place downtown? I keep forgetting. Anyhow,
Downtown.
It's not the Palladium. It's the other place.
Sobeys?
On 52nd Street.
50 Birdland?
No, Birdland we played in.
Roseland?
Yeah, you
Roseland.
got it. Roseland, thank you.
Bingo.
In the original Roseland was on Broadway. Then it moved to 52nd Street.
Right.
And I met Sid Sayre, and he gave me his card. And I went up to his office one day because I was with my girl. I was going to a movie, and in those days, I hated to go to a movie after it was rolling. So we
Right.
checked the time. So I said, let me go up and see Sid Sayre. I went to see Sid Sayre, and he was furious on the phone. And I said, Sid, I have my Latin band. Here's my name, my number. I didn't have cars then.
Right.
Here's my number. And call me. He says, oh, never mind. He was having a problem in a place called the Pines Hotel in South Fallsburg, the
upstate?
Catskills.
Yeah, know it well.
And
I was brought up there.
the group that he had, Marty Franklin, was a quartet. And Marty didn't want to work there. He had another job, and I forget what was going on. So I walked out, and Sid came running out. He said, Joe, you have a sextet? How good is it? I told him, it's great. I play standing up congas, man. My singers dance. Everybody has a good time, and we're great. So he said, all right. In those he had to audition. So I said, great. So when we came to audition, I didn't have a stand. It was a little white lie. And I put the drum on a chair, and we did dance, the three of us. We were good dancers. Me,
Right.
Jimmy Sabatel,
You just winged
and Willie
it.
Torres, yeah. and he loved it. He
That's
said,
great.
"Oh man!" But he said, "You're gonna have to go for the money that the quartet was getting, $50 a person, and room and board, you know." And I never heard of room and board, 3 hots and a cot. Man, we grabbed that job quick, and
Yeah,
we went
they
to the
feed you up
Pines.
there.
Yep, and we went there for 1956, and we stayed there till 1962. We were held over for like 10 years.
Well, there was a really big movement. What was it in the 50s of
Yeah.
Latin music, and
Right.
people were really into learning, you know, mambo and
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And,
Well, because the Palladium became a showcase for the world. You had big stars like Harry Belafonte.
Right.
You had Marlon Brando used to go on to play bongos, and it became a thing that people really grabbed.
it was hip.
Yeah, it was hip.
It was
And
really
not
hip.
only-
It's
yeah.
becoming hip again now, which I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
get to.
I think it's
further
moving
down.
again. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
coming back.
Absolutely,
You know, people, a lot of dance clubs opening up and
Right.
salsa. I mean, I'm really into it. I go down to
Yeah,
Miami.
all
and I'm
right,
like,
yeah, good.
I don't know what I'm doing. It's like half rock and roll.
Hey, as long
half
as you're
salsa.
doing it.
It's great though. It's really fun. Did you always have Vibes?
Yeah,
in the
Vibes
band,
was
part of the
Vibes
band?
is the mainstay of the group, the sound of the group, you know.
Yeah.
And I always loved the sound of Vibes, you know.
So that's
a
been
funny thing in the
since the
50s.
original lineup.
Yeah, but in the 50s, I had trumpets.
Oh, you did have.
Yeah,
trumpets in the
because certain
50s.
places said that trumpets were the Latin sound.
Right.
So one day I played with trumpets, and the next day with the sextet, and the third day until we got a big hit record with the sextet, and then it was sayonara trumpets, you know. Goodbye.
Now, we had talked before the camera started rolling
Yeah,
about the Mambo Kings and
Yeah.
what that was all about. I mean,
Well, I believe that in those days, the early 50s, Pupi Campo was his name, and
you were one of the
Mandy
big
Campos.
band leaders of
And
that
they
era
were.
as well.
I was only a kid then.
Oh, you were
Yeah,
really-
yeah, a little
okay.
baby, and they really were the Mambo Kings. And when I didn't see the movie complete, but the part that I saw, and you know, that's them. That was them. Pupi Campo was great, you know.
And they were
Yeah, they were Cuban.
inspirations to you.
Yeah, because they were in the big leagues, we call them. They played the big clubs in New Jersey. They played the downtown clubs, you know, the store club.
They
and
were
things.
from Cuba. Now you were
Yeah.
from Puerto Rico. How was the sound different from what the Cuban musicians were bringing over? Was it more Afro,
Yeah.
you know, Cuban influence?
Cuban were very, very typical, down to earth, you know, like that type of really funky. And we Ricans in New York, like more or less mellowed it, you know, to like a dun 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 dun. Dun. We reversed it. That's what we did. We reversed their vamp, the piano vamp, turned it upside down and called it salsa.
So that was the beginning of salsa.
Well,
I mean,
who knows
again,
when
I'm
salsa began?
I'm such a neophyte.
I got news for you.
I'm you have to educate me.
Hey,
here.
I'm a Latin band leader, and don't ask me what salsa's all about because
It's
I've been
Latin
playing the
music,
same thing
right.
all the way through, you know, and it's all the same. It's how you fit it into you know, how you play it, you know,
Right.
the rhythmic pattern you use, you know.
Right. That's excellent. So what was the Latin scene like in the 50s? It was just
Well, it was cha-cha.
like you were saying, Brando came down and jammed, and it was
It
just
was a madness.
trendy.
It was a incredible feeling where everybody came and became part of it. It became like, you know, look, there's that tune I was telling you about, To Be With You. That's the one I was telling
Sing
you
a little.
about. Yeah.
Where's our singer? Where's it?
That's
Alfredo.
no, that's Angelo. That's
that's
the
Angelo.
yeah, Angel Justiniano.
We've got your lead singer
Yeah.
here, your current
Yeah,
lead singer.
my currently singer is Alfredo.
We're going to bring him in a little
Yeah,
while.
in a short while, and that was a
Just
beautiful
don't
tune.
get him too close to
In
me.
the 50s, it was like a madness. Everybody loved dancing cha-cha. You know, see,
And
Latin
that's
music
coming
is
back now, I feel-
sensuous.
yeah, very.
You know, it really is.
Very.
You know, you express yourself to your dance partner in a sexual manner, but in a cool sexual manner. You know, not like that. You know, except for Latins, we grab you. You know, and then that's different.
Gotta love that. Why do you think I like going down
Come
to
over
Miami
here,
so
man.
much?
You know.
Why do you think I have to go down to Miami a couple times a year?
You don't have to go to Miami, honey.
I
You're
know,
right.
but a
You're
lot-
right in the barrio, in the right place.
I'm right here
Now
right
you're in the
now.
right
I don't need
place.
to go anywhere.
Woo! You got it.
Well, yeah, well, so where are you? You're originally from Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, no, I'm
And
born
you-
here in New
but you're
York,
born
Manhattan.
here.
Yeah, I'm born.
Your
My
parents
parents are from Puerto Rico, Gloria Cardona and Miguel Calderon, Santurce and San Sebastián. So I got the right roots, you know. My
Excellent.
raíces are from Puerto Rico. and I'm very proud of that, of course. And I was studying to be
Beautiful. I've been there. It's
I was studying to be a
beautiful,
lawyer.
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh no, that I didn't forget it.
Gorgeous.
And, yeah.
To be a lawyer.
Yeah, and I'm a paralegal now. So I became a paralegal.
That's great.
And
That was another question. Have you always supported yourself with your music, or?
yeah, I always did. You know, since I started in music, I always did. And my parents always said, "La música no deja." That means, you know, you can't make a living out of music, my son. But I always did, thank God, because in those days there were so many places to work in. The Catskills, Lakewood.
Right.
You had the country clubs in Long Island. A lot of country clubs, beautiful country clubs where everybody worked during the summer, you know. All the big bands, Tito Rodriguez, Tito Puente, Machito, you know, rest in peace. And it was a beautiful time. The times were great in those days, you know. It was like, it seemed everybody wanted to dance.
Right. Do you feel that coming back now as strong as it was in the 50s,
I do.
early 60s?
I believe.
Do you feel it's really going to have a real
I
strong
believe it's going to
resurgence in
come
Latin
a
music?
tremendous resurgence because people are getting back into it. I was in a side street, you know, that's a club in the Bronx on Blondell Avenue, Saturday, and the reaction to our music and to the music they were playing on the disco itself was tremendous. People are, man, they're just like, it's a happy-go-lucky place. You walk out of there 4 o'clock exhausted, but happy, you know?
That's great. Well, that's the way I feel when I dance Latin music. I'm like, I love this. It is definitely happy
The
music.
greatest,
It's definitely party music.
You can't beat it. Even the ballads are sensuous, you know?
Yeah. And you've had some major hits over the years.
Yeah.
And we've got the gold records to prove them. Now, Bang Bang was a major hit
It was
for you.
a monster hit. That was a crossover hit. But you know, it's a funny thing. The first record we
I'm
made
reading
was
my
a
questions here.
The first record we made was a hit. It was called Ritmo de Cha-Cha-Cha, Rhythm of Cha-Cha. That was 1956. And we had a hit record with that. Among the Latin people, a Mambo of the Times was a tremendous hit. That was one of the first mambos in English, you know? And then we just rolled along. And like you said, then we finally got to Bang Bang. And
So that was a crossover hit.
Yeah.
That was your, would you say that was your biggest hit today?
No, the biggest hit was Bang Bang.
Bang Bang,
Yeah,
right.
that was the biggest.
And then there's El Pito, the whistle.
Yeah, the whistle song was a monster.
And To Be With You, which we just heard a little while ago. Any other songs?
Well, I got news. There's a lot of them. My Man Speedy was a big
and do you
hit.
do all the writing?
I do a lot of writing. I wrote Bang Bang, co-wrote Bang Bang, co-wrote El Pito. I wrote Bang Bang. El Pito. My Man Speedy is mine. I got about 30, 40 tunes that I wrote that were hits. All of them, you know. And
That's great.
I'm very
Different
proud of
record labels, or have you worked with the same
well,
label over the years?
No. I started with, I forgot. But I was on Mardi Gras. Rainbow was the first one. Rainbow Records, Mardi Gras Records, Seco, Chico, Fania, and now Tiffany. And Tiffany is a new up-and-coming company. And,
wait, we got to get you answering the phone.
That's okay. That's a phone call.
I really want
That's
the
quite
same
all
way
right.
you answered the phone
It's a
last
phone
time.
call from, I think President Clinton is calling in.
Okay.
So, hello, this is Bellevue Hospital. Can I help you, please?
I love this guy.
What? You ready to check in? Okay.
Am I your nurse?
Do you have your white suit on? Okay. I'm gonna send down the head nut from here, and he's gonna pick you up. Okay. His name is Alfredo. Okay. Right. Excuse me, Mr. Alfredo. Would you mind going down and bringing in Valerie? She's looking for therapy. Ella está buscando terapia. Thank you. All right. Bring her up so we can cure her.
Joe, how do you feel that the music industry and the labels you've worked with over the years have treated you? I mean, do you have good feelings about the music industry?
I'll tell you something.
Do you have any sour grapes?
No. To have sour grapes really doesn't make any sense. A lot of people don't understand the music industry. The music industry is you get recorded, right? And your record company publicizes you, and you're going to make your money from your performances and from your writings.
Right.
Because a lot of people understand it. I know most record contracts are, if you're a performer, you pay for everything.
Right, it's just a bank loan.
That's it. They're legal loan sharks.
And then
that's it.
Basically, you get your money from live performance, publishing, and then when they get paid back.
Right. If you get a royalty check, it's a miracle. No, but that happens. It does happen once in a while, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, if a person goes into this with the right attitude, the right mental, a way of doing it, you'll be happy. You know, you'll make your money, and hey, you're working. Like I said, hey, you don't have to get up in the morning.
Do you have any advice to some up and coming musicians?
Yeah,
Because we have a young audience.
Yeah,
I mean, since we're on
yeah,
it.
okay. I think that young musicians should study music. I mean, study it thoroughly. Know the musical notes, know arrangements, know, you know, progress as far as you can. You can be in the smallest band in the world, but if you are a knowledge musician, you're going to get more, you know, than you're ever going to get otherwise. You know, years ago, Latin musicians, none of us read, or not. I still don't read music.
No verse for the wearer.
Yeah, for the actual music. But today they all do. My bongo player, Willie Villegas, reads music like it's water.
Willie.
Yeah,
Willie's over there.
and he's right there.
Wave to us, Willie.
And yeah, how you doing, buddy? Look at he's up there playing. Look at
There
him.
he is
Isn't that
on
funny?
TV.
Look. And
Is he bad?
yeah, and I'm very proud of that fact. I went to Puerto Rico originally. Very few Puerto Ricans at that time, musicians, read, because mainly there were no schools, and you know, nobody really was into it heavy. But you go there now, and you're in for a big surprise.
Would you say it's more competitive now?
Oh boy, they're all dynamite players over there. I mean, forget it. You know, you can't beat them. They are dynamite, really. You know, and I got a couple of girls in my group that I have a girl who's the musical director, Carmen Gloria Lavoy,
Great.
and she's the musical
Equal opportunity player here. We love that.
And she, a little bit of a thing, cute little girl, and she's a graduate of the Conservatory of Puerto Rico, and she's one of the mainstays. And we have, of course, Valerie.
Well, do you want to introduce
Not on her,
everybody?
not on her.
Right here.
Here she is,
Why don't we
talking
introduce
about
everybody?
Valerie.
Are you the
That's
vibe
the
player?
vibe player,
Oh
yeah.
my God, you're amazing.
Isn't she
You're
gorgeous?
really lovely.
Yeah.
Very much.
You want to say hello to our fans from New York, New Rock, and introduce yourself?
And what you play?
And what you play?
Hi, my name is Valerie Naranjo, and in the group I play vibes and sing.
Well, Joe was just raving about you and how wonderful you are and how well schooled.
Yeah.
And,
Well-studied musician, you know.
You're the musical director of the band?
I am not the musical director. Carmen.
Carmen's the musical director. She's the musical director of the voices.
Of the
Yeah,
vocals.
she's putting our vocals together.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Doing some vocal
Yeah.
coaching in the vibes.
That's great. I saw you on the video. You were wonderful.
Oh,
You're like
I haven't seen this yet.
with all that
She
hair,
hasn't seen it.
you know. Oh, you haven't.
Yeah, she plays like that
I mean,
and then
for a
just
minute,
throws your
I thought
hair.
it was Guitaro because
She hasn't seen it.
Guitaro was all these-
Oh, yes.
When I saw that hair, I was like, it was the same
Yeah.
vibe. It was very emotional.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah,
It was a great show.
yeah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, hang out with us. Let's see. Another question I want to ask you, Joe. Have
Yeah.
you collaborated with a lot of American jazz musicians over the years?
Well, with Dave Sanborn, the last couple of years,
Oh,
he
right.
redid Bang Bang, which was a tremendous hit, and I was very proud to go on the Jay Leno show with him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we did a video that was very successful, you know. And
Can we get a copy of it for our show?
yeah, I will. I'll
That
get
would
it
be
for you.
fabulous.
Yeah, I'll try and get it. I need one. Everybody comes in and takes my videos and things, and I'm very happy at that fact. You know that people are now reaching out and using my music. They just used my El Pito in Crooklyn.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
and
That's great.
yeah.
That's
And I
great.
just got a royalty statement that was fantastic. I sent down for a hot dog. And
Gotta love that. Love those big royalty checks.
big royalty check.
That's great.
So that's
So
you
you
know.
and Dave collaborated, and is
Yeah.
that going to be released again?
it was.
Oh, it was.
It was a
Sorry.
tremendous hit the last couple of years. Matter of fact, the first time I saw on a royalty statement 85,000 plays. I never saw that. That means it was played 85,000. You know, it's amazing, which is great. And that's what you were talking about, the different companies and how they push records and how they, that's Elektra Records. And
That's
they
a
were
good
great.
label.
Oh,
They're
very
a
good.
label.
Yeah.
I have interviewed other artists on the
Yeah.
label that are really pleased with Electra. This is your new CD.
Yeah.
Moving right along, stepping
Right.
out again.
Yeah.
And when did you record this? Can
We
you get a little
recorded it
close up?
last year, you know, and
I like the back cover
I
better.
love the back cover. Yeah.
But
Turn it around.
Turn it
you gotta
around.
love this man.
And of course,
You gotta love him.
yeah. And
All right.
they
There
asked
he
me.
is, caught with his pants down.
They asked me how come I lost my pants. I told them I got so many girlfriends I don't have a chance to put on my
Can't put
pants.
them back on.
So,
Busy man, how do you find
yeah.
time for music?
Getting back to Valerie, you know,
Okay.
I think she's so dynamic when she plays and everything. When she finally sees the video, you know, and she's going to be an intricate part of the sextet now. I'm bringing her up. She sings very well, and she's going to be part of the vocals and everything, you know. And I think that a woman should realize that there are very few groups that have women players. I got 3 of them.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that fact. Yeah, yeah, they're very good.
That's great. We're glad. We're glad you're employing us.
Right.
Let's see. What were some of your? We probably touched on this a little bit, but if you want to talk a little bit more about your musical influences.
Well, you know, Tito Puente was my biggest musical influence. I'll never get over that. I was studying law, like I told you, because law is my love. And
it's good to know in the music
I was listening to the
business,
radio. Yeah, I was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden I heard this music. It was called Ran Can Can and Abaniquito. I'll never get over those 2 tunes, you know. And they were announcing the Palladium Ballroom on 53rd and Broadway, the Palladium Ballroom, you know, and I refused to be influenced, you know. I was studying and I said, forget all that crap, man, you know, I'm studying here. And slowly but surely I just closed the books and threw them on the floor and ran out the door, and I went down to see Tito. And the first day that I saw him, I just went bananas. I used to follow Machito, but Tito was the first musician or Latin musician who came up front, you know, frontal. The drummers were all in the back. All the rhythm people were always in the back, and the singer was up front. But that's the first time I saw the rhythm up front, and he was directing that band, and I went bananas, and I went up and I introduced myself to Tito, and we've been dearest friends since that day. I said, Tito, listen, I want you to play Abaniquito for me, please, and he did. He turned and looked at me, you know, and I said, you know, and he, you know.
So you've jammed with him a lot over the years?
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's a very dear friend of mine.
That's great.
And Pacheco used to go to the Catskills when he was first getting into the business and sit in with me on flute. And, Macaco, rest in peace. And, well, you know, Louis Ramirez played with me for many years. Tremendous player and arranger.
What a career you've had. Oh, my
so
gosh.
far, thank you, yeah.
So how many albums have you released?
Geez, I really don't
over the
know.
years?
I have no idea. I don't have any idea. I know there's a load of tunes, but...
How many of your albums went gold?
Well, actually, 4 of them went gold. We got 2 gold records, but then I was feuding with the record company, and I sort of told them what they could do with it. You can edit that, right?
No, we like to keep that stuff.
Take it
And that's, you know, and that was it, you know, and that was that was of course Tico Records, you know, and it was a period in our lives. I think that's when more or less Latin peaked, you know, because everybody seemed to be getting rich. The rock bands were everybody was getting rich, but us, we were getting poorer, you know. The Eddie Palmieri, Tito Puente, Joe Cuba were getting poorer, you know.
Why do you think that was? The deals
I think
that
was,
were originally signed were not?
No, I think this was we actually did not understand the complexities of the business, okay? Had we understood it, we would have also, you know, like, I didn't believe in a lawyer, you know, and nobody, you know, we should have. Well, you can't mess with a rock group because he'll take you to court in a minute, you know, with 9,000 Shapiros and Baileys and all them guys, you know.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and
so has that sparked more of your interest in the law?
Absolutely.
Over the years, you just
Well, I've always followed the law, but during my years as a band leader and a musician, I was a party time guy, you know, and I really wasn't out until the law, you know. If I got home at 5 o'clock in the morning, it was a miracle. So, you know, you can't get up at 8 in the morning.
I know that lifestyle well.
It was great, yeah.
Been there.
All right.
Do it.
Good. Do it. It says do it by the book, but we didn't.
Have you been touring your whole career? I mean,
we toured around the world. We've been to South America so many times, and Europe, and I've been all over the world, and I think it's a great experience traveling. I love traveling. I love air, right? Valerie, you like air things? I love it, right?
It doesn't take too real long.
You want to know something? I agree with you. The first,
nerve-wracking.
yeah.
Well, like wears your body down too.
Yeah.
If you're really touring and doing a lot of short, if you're doing a lot of short things and you're doing a lot of time.
Oh, really? Up and down in the airplanes. Yeah.
It's really great for a band, though. You get real close and you get to know each other's weak points and strong points. You get to become a family that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great.
And the music probably grows stronger as a result of.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I've worked with people who tour before they do the record, and that's really the way that we should do it, although most of the time it isn't done that way.
It doesn't quite work out that way. Do you have any tours coming up?
Yeah, we're supposed to go to Asia.
Oh, wow.
Japan is on the
Japan.
line.
Oh, they'll love you
for
there.
my sushi.
We love that.
And
We
Europe,
love that sushi.
And Europe is on the line for sure. LA is on the line, and Washington. In fact, I got to call up Richie Bonilla. Are those things in,
There's
baby?
Valerie. There she is on the TV
oh,
now.
yeah. Look at her. Watch.
She's going.
Look at her go.
it.
Watch her. Watch.
You are amazing.
He is. Watch. Look at that.
That's great. Where was your training? Was all in Puerto Rico?
No,
you grew up there now?
I'm from the States.
Oh, you're from.
Southern Colorado.
Oh, yeah?
And
I didn't know that.
See what you learn when New York New Rock comes into your living room?
Huh? I know. No problem.
No, I grew up in Southern Colorado.
We're going to sneak him in.
And I started drumming when I was about 10.
So that was your first instrument, the drums or the congas?
No, actually snare drum, and then
Oh,
I
yeah?
was graduated to trap set.
Oh.
And my first gig was at age 14. I played with a country and western band.
that's wonderful.
Boy, it was crazy because they always had a problem with me because I didn't drive, so they always had to pick me up and things. That wasn't much fun. I started at the University of Colorado, and I changed to the University of Oklahoma because they had a lot of assistance there for Native Americans. And then
And are you a Native
Yes,
American?
from my father's side. And then from Oklahoma, I started teaching. I started teaching at a university, and I got kind of bored. I thought, you know, teaching is great, and I think that we need great teachers. I think that's part of the legacy of passing our music on to the future. At that time, though, I felt like I needed to really experience a lot of music, and then when I got older, maybe, you know, then I would teach, because I'd have something to teach somebody besides some notes and things.
Well, how did you hook up with Joe? From all the way from Colorado, doing country music to up here in the barrio here, playing with one of the legends of Latin music.
I used to play with a group, Latin sextet, that was patterned after Joe.
Yeah.
It was called Carabali.
Yeah.
And the leader of that group really loved Joe Cuba and the
Good
sextet,
friend
and
of
he
mine.
loved that sound, named Raul Alomar.
Yeah.
So he explained that to me when he called me. I had never played vibes before, but he really pulled my leg.
Oh, you're kidding
Yeah.
me.
Well, I'm more of a drummer.
Oh, well.
So he really pulled my leg and said, just give it a try. Come over and give it a
That's
try.
amazing.
So from that first experience, we did 2 albums. And everywhere I went, of course, we were being compared to the Joe Cuba Sextet because that was like our grandfather in terms of where our roots were coming from. So I had just come back from Chicago, and the musical director of Carabali, who Joe knows, I guess had referred my name to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was making some phone calls, and I picked up the phone. The phone didn't ring. It was Valerie, Joe Cuba. I said, oh, hi. I'd never met him before. Hi, how you doing? It was like we're old friends already.
Yeah.
And
That was
from that,
great.
we just started working together.
That's wonderful. Can't wait to see you guys live.
Yeah.
Speaking of live shows, we have some live shows coming up. So why don't we announce them before, you know,
great.
so we can get that on the air. You've got something. What was that? April
14th, Atlantic City.
14th in Atlantic City.
Yeah, the Showboat.
At the Showboat. And then May 17th here in Manhattan.
Yes, Le
at Poulet.
And the 27th is,
Oh, you have your own mic, right?
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
27th is,
Club Broadway.
yeah, Club Broadway 2 in Queens. And then after that, we're scheduled to go on tour, you know, hopefully. No, we're going to record now, too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what projects do you have coming up. Now,
Yeah.
this album is still on sale, and
Yeah.
people can still get this.
And it's
this
still
album.
right, absolutely, in all the stores. And I have a theory: you have to get the other one ready. As this one moves along, you should prepare the other one because it takes time to really get into the tunes.
right.
And like Valerie said, it's better to play the tunes ahead. And then when you get to the studio, you know them so well, you can really project them and lay them down.
So you've got all the new tunes written, or are you still writing?
Well, some of them, yeah, I'm writing. Yeah. I like to write. I got some wild tunes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Joe, now you took some time off from music, didn't you?
Yeah, I was sick
many
for
years
about
was that?
10 years.
Oh, no.
I had arthritis and asthma and all kinds of things. I couldn't hardly walk. My leg was 4 inches shorter. And thank God in medicine that they gave me the operation, so I got a new right leg. I have a whole new hip implant, and now my left leg don't work. So
You can't win. You know, you fix one, the other one falls apart.
I have my nose fixed, and my mouth don't work.
You look just fine to me. You look...
But I feel great, you know. But I feel great.
So did you want to play during that period, or you just decided,
I wanted to play, but you know something? It's funny. When I believe myself, you know, I don't know how other performers believe, and they used to tell me, why don't you sit down and play? I was getting calls, Joe, just sit down and play. I said, because I've played standing up in a certain style all these years, and if I can't perform to the capabilities and to the standard that I had showed my public before, I just don't want to perform. And I don't know if that was like it was like a psychic type of thing or what. And that's what I said. I said, and then my dear friend Charlie Palmieri, of course, passed away on me. He was part of my group, and that was, of course, was an emotional blow, let's call it. That said, I said to myself, hey man, goodbye and good luck, because I used to tell Charlie, you know, don't force it, because he had this bad heart, and you know, and he passed away, and I really went into a depressed state as far as playing was concerned, and that's why I became a paralegal. I went back to school, you know, and then I got my operation, thank God, and everything came out great.
And that's what motivated you to come back and start doing music again?
You know, I'll tell you what came back. See, there's a gentleman up there called Boggsy, Vernon Boggs, okay, and he wrote a book called Sociology. And we became very dear friends. He was a professor in the what do you call it, CUNY? Yeah, CUNY. And I'm going to show you something, and I don't know if you should film that. That's an amazing thing. You see that rose?
Yeah.
That rose is 2 years old, the day of his death, and it's not wilted. And I ain't touching it, and I ain't messing with it, and I've never seen anything like that in my life. The man that wrote the book.
And that inspired you to start playing music?
I'll show you what happened. Watch what happened.
Okay.
Sociology, the roots of Latin music from Cuba to how it came over here, and we became very dear friends. And when he wrote the book, he was going to go to SOBs and you know, the inauguration, the debut of his book, you know, Ilana's book. And a guy called me and said, look, Joe, you know, Vernon, I call him Boggsy, I'm the only one that calls him Boggsy. Vernon Boggs doesn't have any music or anything. Could you come down with a group? And I said, but I'm not working anymore. I'm not even in the business, you know, please, you know. So he said, why don't you just organize a group? I said, man, I'm not. But then the bug got me, and I said, let me do it for him. And I called all my old, you know, guys that work with me, excuse me, and they were dying to come back. All of them. So we went to SOBs, a couple of rehearsals, and I figured, well, I'm going to play and goodbye. We played, and we had write-ups in all the newspapers.
You played, and
how
you played,
sensational
and
we were,
playing, so. How
great the phone was ringing again, and I said, I'm not mad at money. Yeah, what time do you want me to be there? And we were back in the business, you know. So I thank Boggsy, and he passed away about a year ago, and he's so beautiful, you know. That was the reason I came back. It's amazing, you know.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, you've had many singers over the years, Joe.
Yeah.
Who have been some of your favorites?
Well, most of them, Willie Torres, of course, who just did one of them, tune on the CD now called The Latin Way, which I believe is going to really move. It's a CD, a disco type of CD, you know, in English, of course. I wrote it, I'm very proud of it. And Willie is a great singer, and he had retired for all the years. And I called him up and I said, Willie, look, you're the only guy, because I wrote this tune for him 20 years ago.
Is he on this video here?
Yeah, on the new CD.
On the new CD.
Yeah, it's called The Latin Way. And so Willie said, all right, I'll go down and I'll do it. And he did a great job, you know. And when Willie was with us, we were like a family, and he was the one that really put us on the map with Got You Under My Skin, Stormy Weather, Temptation, everything in English. And then, about 1958, he said, I'm going with Jose Cubello. That's a big band. And I said, what are you gonna, are you gonna leave us? And he did. He crushed us.
Oh,
and I didn't want no singers. I didn't want no from singers. We were gonna go charanga style. And me and Jimmy Sabater, that was the drummer singer, we sang charanga style. And Tito Rodriguez, my second cousin, rest in peace, one day he told me, he said, man, I got a guy that sings up a storm. He's my band boy. And why don't you grab him and and give the pep to the group, because you guys sound good, but So I said, no, I'm not interested. So we got a guy named Cheo Feliciano, okay, Jose Cheo Feliciano. And Cheo came, he came late to the rehearsal. I'll never get over this, the first rehearsal. And I told him, go sing Stormy Weather and sing all of these things. But he couldn't sing that because he's a salsa singer.
Right.
You understand? So I told the guy, I said, well, this guy can't sing, But then he was such a great, yes, it's incredible. He was such a great guy and so happy-go-lucky. And then I heard something, when he started singing the other kind of things, and I said, oh man. So he said, look, give me a break, I'll play the bell and whatever. So, I told the rest of the guy, yeah, you get a guy like that, and you love a guy like that. And he came into the group, it's funny. And then he was in the group one day, and he was out of the group. One day he would go up to Grossingers on Friday. And then one day we were playing, and he started singing, man. And I said, damn, this guy can sing, man, And he blew everybody away, I'm saying to myself, boy. I said, keep going, baby, keep going.
Absolutely.
And
the rest is history.
And the rest is history. Cheo Feliciano is, he's got a beautiful voice, We did a vibrato. I think Cheo is one of the greatest singers that I ever had the pleasure of working with. A beautiful guy, too.
And now,
yeah, he joined my group the day he was married.
Wow,
and I know his wife before he knew her. We're all from the same neighborhood, so that's funny. She said, man, it's my honeymoon. I said, man, your honeymoon is after the gig.
Your honeymoon is over.
After the gig, baby.
Honeymoon's over.
And it was funny. And then he just suddenly exploded because he has this beautiful voice,
Yes.
God gave it him and he got it.
Now you're working with Alfredo Torres.
Yeah,
now,
Alfredo Torres is my son. Where is he?
That's
my son. Where is my son? He's around here somewhere.
Alfredo, you're being beckoned.
And I think Alfredo is going to be one of the. Look at her.
She's amazing.
Boy. Yeah, here he comes. All right. Da 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 da.
Show now. I really feel like this is a real talk show because we have different guests coming on and
that's like
doing the
that's my son. My father-like son.
Nice to meet you.
Give him the mic, too.
I love this guy.
And I believe Alfredo is going to be one of the greatest salsa singers. Yeah, over the years. He has developed into a tremendous talent, Great personality, great appetite.
For what?
For food.
I met Alfredo, he kissed my hand. I was like, nice to meet you. Don't sit too close to me.
Quick.
Nice to meet you.
Gotta be quick.
I look forward to seeing the band and seeing all you guys perform live. Would you like to say hello to our fans?
Hi.
New Rock?
For all the fans of the Latin music in New York, from Alfredo Torres, Mayagüez, Puerto Rico.
All right.
And what's your background, Alfredo? I mean, when did you start singing and all that?
Well, you made me think now. That was when I was 13 years. I started in the public music school in my hometown in Mayagüez, Puerto Rico. Since that, my first time here was in 1985. I was singing with Charlie Palmieri, rest in peace. That was the day that I met Mr. Joe Cuba. Too.
Fortuitous day?
No, for the good time. Since that, I got back and forth. And now, I joined Mr. Joe Cuba Sestek like 3 years ago. And really, I find that this is the place that I have to stay and to develop my career. And I'm trying my best, and he's trying, He treated me really good.
He adopted you.
He adopted me.
You can't ask for much better than that.
No, I
Can't go further than that.
Right. We're glad to have you here. Moving right along. Joe?
Yeah.
Now you started off with horns, and now you have horns again?
Yeah,
You're
in
working
other
with
words,
the horn section again?
I got the horns were gone. So after the 10-year hiatus, what do you want to call it, my illness, I've always loved brass. I love the baritone. That's always fascinated me. In a combination with the vibes, which my vibes, that's my key things. And so I told the record company, look, I want to get 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, and a bone to augment you
A
know,
what?
augment. In other words, go around the
Right.
sextet sound, you know. And so we tried our best to do that, which is very difficult, but we did it. I think we
Are
accomplished
you
it.
comfortable with it? 'Cause
Yeah,
that wasn't.
very comfortable. I
Okay.
love the. You know what I like? Our concept is we come on with the sextet, we play our sextet tunes, and show them where we're at for the sextet, and all of a sudden people look up, and like 6 guys come up in blue suits, right behind us, and all of a sudden when we hit that next tune, it's a monster.
Great.
Yeah, I feel
Really
great.
You know, we do have another band member here, and I don't want to exclude anyone.
No,
We've got,
Willie, get
we've
him
got
up here,
Willie,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd like to introduce Willie as well.
Willie Villegas, come
Hey,
on, Willie.
Just want to get everybody in the party here. And I feel like a real talk
And
show
you know-
host. I
and
love
you-
this.
and
You know,
you-
everybody's like,
And you notice how they all ran
Hi,
away.
Willie.
I always like
I'm
Willie
Ivy.
between me, so
Yeah.
Valerie came right back.
Right?
It made me feel lovable
really
in some
happy
sense.
now.
He likes bookends, right?
yeah.
He likes that bookend
Oh
shit.
yeah, one of those numbers.
Willie, what do you play in the band?
I play bongos.
Yeah.
I've been playing with Joe such a limited time now, but I feel like I've known him for years and I've been playing with him for years.
And
Joe
also-
is a living legend. A lot of people don't know that. I think that they should know and recognize living legends today that are alive, not those that are dead, and that they consider them living legends then. Joe is a living legend to this day, and he will be when he reaches the other side, which I hope never happens. But we
Don't
want
wish
to
I-
push.
We're very fortunate. Yeah,
We're
not.
very fortunate. We want to push Joe as much as we can, and we want to know that Joe has been around longer than a lot of other people. A lot of people have come and gone who are still alive today, but Joe's still here, and he'll continue to be here.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You know where he's really a legend, especially in London. When I was touring in London, people always used to come up to me and say, "How can I get those old Joe Cuba records?"
Really?
And they weren't,
Yeah.
you know, they weren't our elders. They were young people who just really appreciated
Yeah,
that
that's
sound.
nice. Yeah.
Have you seen a new resurgence, you know, in Latin music and Latin dancing? I mean, because I feel this whole new
Well, yeah.
interest.
I think there are two things happening. First, in places like Japan and Europe, and a reawakening here in the States among
Appreciation.
yes, among non-Latin peoples of the dancing and how beautiful it is. So that leads you right to the music. And also, I think there's a reappreciation in Latin music as it has occurred in pop music and different other styles of music, going back to acoustic instruments, you know, and a little bit of a turn away from the electronics that dominated the scene in the 70s and the early 80s.
That's definitely true. How do you see the influence on pop and rock music?
Well, have you noticed how many things from the late 60s and early 70s you actually hear? You may not hear them on Top 40 radio, but in terms of going into a club, going skiing, going swimming, all the things that are played are things of the 60s and 70s. There's something about the way that things were written at that time, maybe because of the influences. You know, a lot of the influences in society were going on at that time that are happening now. The right and the left, the kind of tug of war that was happening then is happening now. So I feel that history repeats itself. And
It definitely does.
It's happening. And whenever that happens, you hear the resurgence of art, music, style in terms of clothing, hairstyle.
History definitely repeats itself.
Oh, yeah.
It just keeps
And
going.
the different aspects,
Yeah.
I think right now there's a broader horizon too musically because salsa is being generated through all of Europe. People are getting hip out there. Non-Hispanic speaking people are playing music out there. There are German bands who are being formed out there.
Really?
Yeah, sure. That probably have more quiet knowledge of Latin jazz or more jazz than salsa itself, and they're just copying what we're doing. And there's some cases are improving on it. And a good example is the band in Japan. Those guys out there were playing salsa and performing salsa music before they understood the language. And today they're very popular in their own town.
And they do it well.
They do it very well. And what's happening in Japan today is that the younger audience themselves are listening to salsa music, more salsa music than ever within the past
Are they
10 years.
dancing to salsa music over there
They
also?
are dancing there. I'm pretty sure we have the salsa music today, which is called the mambo, but I think in Japan they're going to come up with their own title because they're going to invent their own thing, you know?
Mamajito.
Yeah, what is it?
The Mamajito.
I like that.
You know, you got to be
That's
very
cool.
careful the way you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's cool though.
Yeah,
That-
I would say so.
That's what I like about it.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Pronunciation. Yeah, it goes with sushi perfect.
Absolutely. Now, how long have you been with Joe, Willie?
I've been Joe very limited time, about 5 months now.
Oh, yeah.
But
Was he always one of your idols?
I grew up listening to Joe. I grew up listening to certain particular people. One of them he mentioned was Tito Puente, because Tito at that time, since I'm a percussionist, you know, Tito Puente was the smoke in his cat. And today, there are a lot of young timboleros that are out there that are playing, but they can't call themselves timboleros unless they can really appreciate Tito Puente. Because just because he's older now doesn't mean he can't do what he did back then. But he's the best. There's no one better than him. And that's a fact. Joe, like I said, Joe's challenge on playing congas was totally different because it was just vibes. There were no horns. So you really had to fill in. And he didn't have a bongo player back then. So the singer he had, who was extraordinary, because this guy had a lead vocal, and plus he had to play the cowbell at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Alfredo does that too.
That's right. Alfredo's doing that at this moment until I came in and started playing bongos, so now I took over. But at that time, you know, it was just Joe, the timbale player, and the singer. That was it. And that was the rhythm, because vibes was just at the top of the whole basis, which was the lead, because there was no horns. And today, right now, we got horn players, you know, thanks to Joe's outreach in presenting a bigger band and a broader sound.
Beautiful, big sound.
But I still love the sextet.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's happening. And having a female vibrist, wow.
With the talent,
really
with the talent she has. You know? I like when she grabs her hair and goes.
Talk about a light switch, huh?
You know,
Talk about a mind blower, right? That blows my mind.
Pretty soon we're going to have to change this show to a rated X one.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
what are you going to do?
Probably shut the camera off first.
That's great. That's great.
Wait, we have another phone call. I just, give me a new one.
Hello. This is Bellevue Hospital. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
She says, I got it. I says, I know you do. She's had it for years.
I'm not insane. I don't need Bellevue. Is there anything that you guys want to say to our viewers, or any advice you want to give some young players? I mean, I asked Joe this already, and you know, any advice about drinking and driving, or
well, look, if you're
doing drugs, staying in
have
school,
to drink,
or
if you have to drink, I think you should pull over to the side of the road, stop the car, take your shot, and then start again, because you know drinking and driving is difficult. Doing things like that. No, I think that
on the serious side.
On the serious side, I believe that our generations that are progressing now, especially musically, should follow music, like I said, and study music, and by all means stay away from drugs, because all drugs do is put you into a world of dreams that don't get you anywhere. You get stagnated. I have a lot of people in my lifetime, I'm going to say this, that work with me, that I've seen, because of drugs, deteriorated to nothing. And you know, it's a real shame for you to have been born. God gives you a talent.
Yeah.
And if God gives you the talent, like to sing or to play an instrument, to have that rhythmic pattern, you know,
Right.
and then you should use it to show the rest of the people in your a lifetime or whoever just what you're doing. You know, you're leaving a message to your people.
It is a
You're
gift.
accomplishing, so it's a gift.
It's a gift.
So use the gift and don't let that crap
Don't
destroy you, you know? Really, don't abuse
Yeah,
it.
a lot of students I've met
Yeah.
that come out of school, like, you know, the hip instrumentalists that are coming out of Berkeley,
Yeah.
they all come with the attitude that drugs is not the thing, because they've seen what happened with a lot of
Thank
major
you, yeah.
artists.
And I'm glad of that.
who
man.
came out, you know, we're talking about some of the best in the world. You
because
know,
you don't need that.
These
you know?
guys really got hooked into drugs, and even though they progressed, they came as far up as they went, as
And
far low as they
zoomed
went,
down.
because when you do drugs, you really reach a level that you can't go beyond, you know?
Can't do it.
And,
It's hard enough in this business, let's face it. It's hard enough to succeed.
Hard enough, yeah.
oh yeah. And today's youth, all I can say is, you know, go to school, really learn. It's very important that you learn your music, you learn your theory and your structure.
Right.
And you learn the most important and the much as you can, because what happens is you yourself make yourself. And what you
That's
project
right.
in your music is how people are going to
What
project
people
you.
do.
And if they see you doing drugs, or they can see that you've been somewhat influenced by drugs,
Right.
well, they're going to see right through
You
you.
don't need that.
And you don't want that, you don't need that.
Thank you, Willie. We
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I had a group. It's called NA. Well, my whole group was like NA. That's Narcotics Anonymous. Nobody, and I was NN. Narcotics Now.
Narcotics now.
I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. You have to.
Joe.
You have to isolate.
Joe is quick. He's quick. You got to be very careful with this guy. Well, listen, what I want to mention is that Joe on the new CD is a tune, particular tune.
Yeah.
It's called Aprendiendo Inglés.
That's right.
Translated, it means learning English.
Right.
And the reason for that title is because his lead vocalist, Alfredo Torres, who's sitting here with us, he's learning how to speak English. This particular point right now, he's not as fluent as we, born in New York, know how to speak English.
But he's tricky.
He's tricky and he's learning.
And he's learning.
And we're gonna
he understands everything.
show you a few things that Joe is teaching him.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Joe was teaching him things, right? And
I
Joe
teach
taught
you,
him very
listen,
well.
watch this. You know, listen.
Wait, you have a mic here?
Oh, I'm sorry, Alfredo. You must say what I say. Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
No, Shakespeare. That's what you said. Shakespeare. Now you have to say molasses is on the table.
Excuse me?
Molasses is on the table.
My ass is on the table. Just kidding.
Listen, this is the Joe Cuba School of Music.
That kills me.
That's great. You have any more of those? I love those. My ass on the table.
He's great with that.
It's fabulous.
He's
Hey,
got-
Wolf, I wish I could get you on camera sometime. You know, Mr. Wolf does all the work there behind the camera. Do you have any questions you want to ask Joe? I know you came in with a few. Or have we covered them all?
Did we cover all the questions?
So what I would like to do is go through those pictures.
Yeah, great. Go right ahead. Make yourself at home.
No,
Don't-
you pointing
Oh, all
at
right. Come on.
those
Yeah.
and-
I'll show you. Mira.
Now we're gonna.
Yeah, we'll.
Anybody understand?
Do you want me to go up with them?
Anyone understand Spanish in this program? Okay. Well, yeah, Spanglish. Can I?
Now what's the front?
Yeah.
Before was the back?
This is an X-rated interview, okay?
Okay.
Let me.
I'm not something. I'm something.
No, you're looking good, honey.
What's that no in there? What's that no in there? That's like.
I'm supposed to record that. I'll get shot, man.
Really?
My wife's in session.
Oh my gosh.
Shot. Here she comes with the shotgun. Wait a minute.
My little Spanish lesson here.
Yeah.
Let's go look at some
You
of
wanna?
these pictures.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
go look at.
Let's. You know what
this
we're gonna do? We're gonna do the
beautiful, long and
chronological
wonderful
history
career.
of the group. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Go ahead, Joe. Go,
Let me show
go
you.
up there.
here we go. Can I move in here like this?
You can.
Yeah,
Okay. That's the original group. The original Joe Cuba Sextet. Okay. And
Who
one of
was
the-
in it?
it was Roy Rosa, myself, Willie Torres, Jimmy Sabater, Tommy Berrios, and Nick Jimenez.
All right.
That was the group, okay? Then the group moved on, and we went to, a lot of people, few people know that we had a girl bass player, Bobby Lynn.
I love you for that, Joe.
Yeah,
You've
she-
been employing
yeah.
women for years
Yeah,
now.
for
Way
years. I
way
figured
ahead of your
I
time.
didn't have to chase them.
That's what
Anyhow, they were in the band.
Let's get them in the band.
They were in the
Come on.
band, come on.